Pre-show time. File in.
No, they're being bad. They're stealing money from each other's wallets. I can tell. The patrons are going wild. Did you give them wine in the waiting room?
Tyrone, get in there. Get that person right now. Seize
All
them.
right, thank you. Thank you. Woof, I feel better now. There's what? That's right. All right, I guess Tyrone has it under control.
Yeah.
Oof.
Things get a little crazy here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, pay no attention to that patron who won't be staying with us for the rest of the broadcast. He's apparently has a prior engagement somewhere.
Yeah, I haven't fed the lions all summer, okay? I don't want to have to do it. I don't want to have to get crazy here, okay?
It'd be tough. The worst of it is having to wake Tyrone out of his estivation.
I don't like to think about that, Charles. I don't like to think about Tyrone's estivation.
Ripping his way out of the cocoon to come running.
Did you finish your estivation for the summer?
Oh, I'm working. I had no time for no estivation. I got to work. I ain't got no time. But I will say that I think it was last year. Somebody said, one of our patrons or fans or somebody said that they were creeped out by the idea of most of the staff sort of going into cocoons, around the building.
Yeah.
You walk into the secretarial pool. All these cocoons.
You get used to it.
It's true. It's cheaper. It's cheaper than keeping the place fully air conditioned.
That's for sure. I didn't do this. SoCal Edison did this.
I like that. SoCal Edison, your enemy. I heard you went all the way to Bree this week, Chief.
Yeah, went to Santa Barbara. Little did we know Bree is adjacent town next to Santa Barbara. No, it was really nice. Really nice time in Santa Barbara. I kind of used Charles's State of the Week for California. Well, actually, I don't know if you did State of the Week California and mentioned Cold Spring. But Cold Spring Tavern he had recommended as the closest thing to the Inn of the Prancing Pony at Bree. So I had to go there, and it was an absolutely delightful place.
There is an inn, a very old inn, where they brew a beer so brown. The man of the moon himself one night came down to drink his fill. The ostler keeps a tipsy cat who is awfully fond of jokes. What?
That's not Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it is. There is an inn, a very old inn, where they brew a beer so brown that the man of the moon himself came down one night to drink his fill.
Well, I'm just wondering who wrote that. So that's a Hobbit poem?
Yeah, well, it was J.R.R.T. wrote it. He wrote them all. He wrote all the poems.
No, but I mean, like...
Oh, yeah, it's a Hobbit
each
poem.
culture has their own...
Yes, it's a Hobbit poem.
Okay. Yeah, because...
it's very typical. Let me see, what are the words? And then, as he always does, he claims that it was the origin of the Man of the Moon. He said only a few words. There's a rule still remembered today, and it goes. There is an inn, a merry old inn beneath an old gray hill, and there they brew a beer so brown that the man of the moon himself came down one night to drink his fill. The ostler has a tipsy cat that plays a 5-string fiddle, and up and down he runs his bow, now squeaking high, now purring low, now sawing in the middle. The landlord keeps a little dog that is mighty fond of jokes. Where there's good cheer among the guests, he cocks an ear at all the jests and laughs until he chokes. They also keep a horned cow, as proud as any queen. But music turns her head like ale and makes her wave her tufted tail and dance upon the green. And oh, the rows of silver dishes and the store of silver spoons. For Sunday there's a special pair, and these they polish up with care on Saturday afternoons. The man in the moon was drinking deep, and the cat began to wail. A dish and a spoon on the table danced, the cow in the garden madly pranced, and the little dog chased his tail. The man in the moon took another mug and rolled beneath his chair, and there he dozed and dreamed of ale, till in the sky the stars were pale, and dawn was in the air. Then the ostler said to his tipsy cat, "The white horses of the moon, they neigh and champ their silver bits, but their master's been and drowned his wits, and the sun'll be rising soon." So the cat on his fiddle played hey diddle diddle, a jig that would wake the dead. He squeaked and sawed and quickened the tune, while the landlord shook the man in the moon. "It's after 3," he said. They rolled the man slowly up the hill and bundled him into the moon, while his horses galloped up in rear, and the cow came capering like a deer, and a dish ran up with the spoon. Now quicken the fiddle went diddle-dum-diddle, the dog began to roar. The cow and the horses stood on their heads, the guests all bounded from their beds and danced upon the floor. With a ping and a pang the fiddle strings broke, the cow jumped over the moon. And the little dog laughed to see such fun, and the Saturday dish went off in a run with the silver Sunday spoon. The round moon rolled behind the hill as the sun raised up her head. She hardly believed her fiery eyes, for though it was day, to her surprise, they all went back to bed. So now you know.
Interesting. All right.
It's such a good story, really. I mean, everything about it. The poetry, the action, man, what a genius he was.
Yeah, there's. Yeah, he was. Okay. Questions?
Yes, I'd like to know why it is that when we go into the commissary, there's only paper napkins. You don't have cloth ones.
Really? Where do you get cloth napkins?
At the cloth napkin store, presumably.
No, I mean, what restaurant?
Bed Bath and Beyond, you can get them. What restaurant? You get it at the Derby.
That's a Derby, though, not the commissary. Are you kidding me?
Oh, you think that the employees don't deserve, equal respect?
Well, why would I do it? We don't live in communist Russia. I mean, we're not comrades here. We're not everybody. Oh, you just want to level the playing field, huh? Oh, everyone's the same. I'm sure. I guess the top floor people should get paid as poor old Rose, huh? Under your framework. That's ridiculous.
Poor old Rose. She doesn't get paid much at all. And she doesn't even have a cloth handkerchief. You promised her a cloth handkerchief so she could blow her nose. Instead, she has to use stolen napkins of the commissary, paper napkins. I don't want to get involved. This is between you and she, but I'm just saying.
Things have to be layered. There has to be an order to society, right? I mean, it's like Mont Saint Michel, right? It's like at the top there's like this amazing thing, but below, there's the peasant folk in this whole contained outfit. It's sort of like Tumblr House in a sense, right?
It's like Planet Krypton, but never mind. All right. I guess you don't want to hear my questions, so we'll go on to the patrons.
Put it in the suggestion box, Charles.
Yeah. How come the suggestion box doesn't have a bottom? It just goes. The suggestions just go right down.
All right. Helvitia has a bunch of questions. He says, "What is Charles's favorite movie with the mostly forgotten actor Wallace Beery? My father was talking about how much he liked him in Salute to the Marines, and his performance in Treasure Island portrays the character Long John Silver better than any other actor." Wow. Okay, so favorite Wallace Beery movie?
Dinner at 8.
Well, that's okay. Well, I mean, how about beyond
Well,
that? How about beyond that?
okay, sure. Grand Hotel.
I don't think I've watched a single Wallace Beery movie. That's interesting. What was his? So, watch out
It
for the
was.
fan. But it's
Sorry.
yeah.
Was that better?
Yes. So what's his characteristics? Like obviously Humphrey Bogart, John Wayne, Jimmy Stewart. These people have distinctive characteristics. What's Wallace Beery's?
He usually played kind of crude, rough, tough characters.
But I mean, likable or not likable or tough? Like,
Usually not likable, but sometimes likable.
huh? Okay.
I mean, he'd be a guy who's kind of brutish, but very often would be outwitted by smarter, better people.
Hmm.
So he was often a villain, but not always.
Okay. Them's kind of fighting words for me with his performance in Treasure Island portrays Long John Silver better than any other actor. I mean, I love Disney so much, or Disney's Treasure Island, the old one. I forgot the name. It's Robert something that played Long John Silver, but this makes me really want to watch Wallace Beery's Treasure Island. But I'm open-minded. You're right about Harvey. So what do you think of his Treasure Island?
I think it's very good. I mean, I wouldn't. The Disney one is also very good, so I wouldn't hazard a guess in between the two of them.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen Disney's upcoming remake of Treasure Island?
Are you? There is no remake. You're trying to troll me. I don't believe it. We don't have to remake everything.
Yes,
Okay.
you have to remake it, and Long John Silver is played by a black woman.
Charles,
Hmm?
don't tell me. Okay. I don't see it. Okay.
You don't believe me?
Well, we live in a day and age where you can say something absolutely insane like that, and I can't dismiss it offhand.
Long John Silver.
I can't believe I have to research stuff like this now. I
Long
can't.
John Silver.
No.
Come here, white boy. Oh man, Jack Hawkins is going to be played by. I don't know. He's going to be played as a Jewish senior citizen. Oh man.
There's a remake of in 1999 of Treasure Island, and Jack Palance is Long John Silver. I don't think that's a good cast at all. Jack Palance I like, but Long John Silver?
That was a little bit of a stretch for him.
Wow.
And I think the guy who played Jack Hawkins, I think it was played by Christian Bale.
Young Hawkins? It's not him. I see the cast. It's a different person. Kevin Zegers.
Kevin Zegers. Him.
Yeah, I don't know him. It says he's... Okay, yeah, he's in a lot, but yeah. All right, what does Charles think about Finland's involvement in World War II? Did they have a choice in entering the war in the way they did, or were they forced to side with Germany?
Oh, they really had to. I mean, there was no way after what had been done to them in the Winter War. There was no way they could not leap on the bandwagon when Germany attacked the Soviet Union. Because it was so horrendous what was done to them. And they really couldn't care less about Germany. All they wanted to do was to get the territories that had been stolen by Russia back. And they got them back for a couple of years.
Okay, so what would have happened if they didn't get involved?
If they'd stayed neutral?
Yeah.
Well, probably the Germans would have put a lot of pressure on them. And the government probably would not have lasted because the average Finn was so outraged by what had been done to them that I don't think a government would have survived that refused to take advantage of what Germany was offering.
Oh, I see.
Because they were attacked for absolutely no reason. It was so wrong. And that's why they had a ton of foreign volunteers to come and help them, including, believe it or not, though he didn't actually get there in time to be of any use, Christopher Lee.
So what happened? So the Soviet Union just invaded them?
Yep, yep. They accused them of conspiring against them. There's a wonderful cartoon that shows what's his face, Stalin, as this big guy grabbing this young girl marked Finland. He grabs her and says, "Trying to attack me, eh?" And that was about the size of it, truly. It was one of the most egregious examples of sheer bullying in history. It was just incredible.
It's a snatch and grab?
Yeah, definitely. Complete snatch and grab.
All right. Is the Soviet offensive fought against Finland from June 9th, 1944 to the end of July the greatest battle ever fought within the Nordic countries?
That's kind of a hard question to answer because there have been a lot of battles fought in the Nordic countries, some of which I don't know anything about. But it was a pretty big one, all right, because the Finns were tough and they were dug in and they knew that if they lost, life was not going to go very well for them. So they did their best not to lose.
So that's like, is that like the Battle of Stalingrad or something like that? I mean, is that
a bit
yeah.
like that, a bit. It was pretty massive.
Okay.
As the Winter War had been. I mean, the reason why the Finns, the Russians were so bitter with the Finns, was precisely because they were supposed to fold, and they didn't. And that was not happy making for Stalin.
Okay. All right. Who would win in a sniper duel? Simo Haya, the White Death, or Carlos Hathcock, the White Feather? So White Death or White Feather?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Those are two famous. So, do you know
two
either
famous
of them?
snipers for the Winter War. I think. Well, let's see. The first guy was Babcock. Yeah.
No. Haya.
He was the Winter War. What's the second name?
Hathcock.
What?
Hath, Hath, and then cock. The White Feather is, I guess, his nickname.
He was, I think, a foreign volunteer, but let's see. The White Feather versus the White Death.
So it seems like, okay, so I get what Hilvish is on. So the Simo Haya is a Finnish sniper.
Yeah. Carlos Hathcock was an American Marine with a service record of 93 confirmed kills. So it made him a legend in the Supreme, and the other is the Finn. I really couldn't answer that question, especially because they weren't using the same kind of weapons. So I'm afraid I'll have to go down as an ignoramus.
It's pretty interesting. All right. Thanks again for all that you do. I'm very much looking forward to some new books from Tumblr House. No cost for shipping and handling. That's right, Helvisho. All right. Question from Marianne, superfan Marianne. She says, what Western films would you recommend for a boy with a newfound interest in the Wild West? He's particularly interested in the old-fashioned pistols.
Well, I would suggest High Noon, She Wore Yellow Ribbon, uh, The Alamo.
I haven't seen that one. Who's in that one? That a good
Uh,
one?
yeah, Bill Holden.
Wow. In a West. Oh, gosh. Okay.
The Alamo wasn't a Western per se. I guess the Alamo is it kind of takes it. Uh, there's another one in addition to High Noon. No, High Noon is a real. Oh, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance.
Okay.
Do you know that one?
I know that one all too well, Charles.
Because when Liberty Valance would come to town, the women would go and hide. They'd hide. When Liberty Valance would come to town, the men would step aside. Because the point of a gun was the only law that Liberty understood. When it came to shooting fast and something, he was mighty good. From out of the east a man did ride, a law book in his hand, the kind of man the West would need to tame a savage land. Yeah, are you getting us?
For some reason, as you sang that, what jumped into my mind, because it was a jingle, like a Western jingle. It's Davy Crockett, the Disney version of Davy Crockett. And it was such a catchy jingle, and I don't know, Davy Crockett.
Top of Tennessee, greatest state in the land of the free. Great killed him, raised in the woods till he knew every tree. Killed him a bar when he was only 3. Davy Crockett, king of the wild frontier.
Yeah. Who'd win in a fight, Davy Crockett or Daniel Boone?
Well, considering they were both played by Fess Parker, I don't know. But what I can tell you is that Daniel Boone was a man. Yes, a big man. And he fought for America to keep all Americans free. From the coonskin cap on the top of Old Dan to the heel of his rawhide shoe, the rippinest, roaringest, fightingest man the frontier ever knew. Daniel Boone was a man. Yes, a big man. And he fought for America to keep all Americans free.
Amazing. All right. A final question for the pre-show comes from Will, who says, "Hi. Who, in Charles's opinion, was the greatest president of the United States and why?" We've gotten this question many times.
We have gotten this question many times. So I will tell you, the greatest president of the United States was Millard Fillmore.
That's the pneumonia president?
No, that was William Henry Harrison.
Who's Millard Fillmore?
Millard Fillmore was Zachary Taylor's vice president. Then when Zachary Taylor died, he became president. Yeah.
That's not March of the Gladiators. All right, so
that is.
So why do you choose Millard Fillmore?
Why? He wasn't in office long, and he represented the people.
More so than any other president?
No, but not less than. No, I mean, I suppose I'd have to say Washington. Now you could ask me the greatest one in my time. bearing in mind that I was born under Eisenhower.
I mean,
I was,
obviously everybody knows you're gonna say Reagan.
you don't know that. Maybe I'll say somebody else this time.
Okay, fine, Obama.
No, not Obama. Don't be silly. Jimmy Carter.
Oh man, I forgot you lived through Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, he proved that anybody could be a moron and still be president. And who says that isn't something? And there was America's best known and best loved adulterer and perjurer, Billy Clinton. I've lived under some real prize winners.
Wow, Jimmy Carter's still alive, huh? I thought he had serious health problems. He's 98.
Yep. He's still around.
I have, I have this thing. It's kind of uncharitable, but it's also kind of charitable. It's this weird thought where it's like, when it comes to leaders that conspicuously made poor decisions, I wonder what the media people, how they're going to handle their funeral.
Oh, he was a hero. They'll absolutely love him to death. Don't you fret about that.
Will they?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I look at. Dare I say this about? Pope Francis, but I couldn't help but think of what Pope Francis's funeral would be like when I was watching Pope Benedict's funeral.
Yeah, I told you, Madonna's going to sing "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina."
Because it was so weird because Pope Francis repealed like a lot of what the good Benedict did. So
yeah.
So then that became taboo to talk about. Like you can't talk about that, right? Like
I couldn't watch Benedict's funeral because of that. The whole thing was too. I mean, it's kind of like when you go to a funeral of somebody. The chief mourner, not only did you know that they didn't like each other, but he's partly responsible for the guy being dead. And you wouldn't be able to stay at that funeral.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, let's work our way back.
Okay.
In fact, this will be your time to shine, because we're gonna do, what do you call that when you say something and I have to respond with 1 or 2 words?
Lightning round.
That's it.
Okay.
It's going to be a reverse lightning round.
Okay.
Because I'm going to call the names of the presidents, and you're going to come up with a word or 2, and no more.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah. Ready.
All right. Okay, here we go. Biden.
Old.
Trump.
Aggressive.
Obama.
Woke.
Bush Jr.
Dumb.
Clinton.
Sexy time.
Gee.
No, I mean, like, what? Obviously, that thing defined his presidency. I don't know. What word would you use for
Open
that?
mind, open heart, open legs. All right, move along. Bush Sr.
I will not read my lips. I will not
raise taxes. Okay, Reagan.
A saint. Because it's a new age conservative saint, and I wish more people would I mean he's good, but I wish more mainstream people would like actually look at saints instead of Reagan. I mean Reagan is great and everything, but okay. That's fine.
Jimmy Carter.
Peanut.
Gerald Ford.
Halliburton.
Nixon.
Whittier. Because he's from
Then
Whittier,
what?
California, so I don't know.
Whittier than what? All right, move along. LBJ.
I mean, unpopular Texan. I don't know. I feel like nobody liked him, and I felt like he just happened.
JFK.
Idol.
Eisenhower.
Good Times.
Truman.
Uneducated.
FDR.
Big Government.
Hoover.
Ville.
Yeah.
I think of Hooverville. I don't know.
Good idea. That's great. Coolidge.
Closed mouthed.
Okay, I did go with that. Harding.
Monumental.
Woodrow Wilson.
The Devil.
William Howard Taft.
William Howard Taft. Oh man. I don't know. I mean, the only thing I know is the trust busting. I guess I don't know.
TR.
I'm just gonna say Wilderness because I thought he did all the trails and I thought he did a lot of wonderful stuff for Parks and Rec and stuff like that.
He did. He did other things, but he did that too. That's certainly true. All right, McKinley.
Assassinated, right, or shot?
Yeah. Shot Dade. All right, Cleveland.
This is getting difficult now. Ohio.
All right.
I don't know.
All right, we can stop. We can stop. It's okay. I mean, as many presidents as any land your age should be expected to know.
I feel like people. There's sort of like it's like a nasty sandwich of presidents, kind of. Like there's a certain sandwich where it's like, oh, people know, like the beginning up to like Andrew Jackson or something like that. They know, we know most of them, and then like we know the recent ones for most of the 20th century. But then there's like this group of presidents that are just kind of like random, and it's like as you said, like Taft, Grover Cleveland.
Okay.
I can't even list
I'll make it.
McKinley's another.
He refused to sign the Declaration of War with Spain, so he stands out. All right, Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, John Quincy Adams, Andrew Jackson, Martin Van Buren, William Henry Harrison, John Tyler, James K. Polk.
Yeah, see?
Now, Polk brought California into the Union.
It starts with Van Buren, then. It starts with with Van Buren.
See, but James K. Polk is the guy that conquered California.
I bet like how James or Jay Leno had like he would on his show a very famous I thought skit, or not skit, but they'd go to people and they'd ask them questions just to test how stupid people are. And I feel like
jaywalking.
Yeah. So I feel like this could be a question like it was James K. Polk ever do we ever have a president with the last name of Polk? Yes or no? And most people would say no. Same with Van Buren. And people don't know these presidents. What did they do? They didn't do much. Oh wow, they didn't sign the war thing with Philippines or Spain.
What are you talking about? They did a lot.
Name one thing.
That James K. Polk did, or that McKinley did?
Polk.
It was under Polk that the Southwest was conquered from Mexico.
That's one small thing.
Oh, one small thing. You know what?
I'm joking.
You're sitting on American soil as we speak because of James K. Polk. And you know what else?
What?
I have been to his house in Columbia, Tennessee.
Okay, so
and you know what else?
What?
I have been to the Sons of Confederate Veterans headquarters in Columbia, Tennessee.
Okay.
They're the same town.
Wow. Okay, so he did a land grab and that's it. So truly colonial at heart.
A land grab.
Yeah, he ripped it
No.
from Spain.
No. Mexico had torn it from Spain, number one. Number two, it was they had a referendum in California. They had an election. They convened the state legislature, and they had an election. Okay, what's the problem with that assertion?
The state of California. What's the state of California at that time?
It didn't exist then.
Okay,
So,
well,
so there's something wrong with this narrative. It was called Alta California, as opposed to what?
Baja. Yeah. See, I know things.
Okay, what was the capital of Alta California?
Monterey.
Very good. Which of your family lived very close to Monterey
My brother.
and ran a swinging bachelor pad in a place called Love Cove?
All right, we're rambling. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
Rambling.
That's it.
Wait until I start.
When we get into Love Cove, that's when the alarm bells start going off in my head. When we get to Love Cove.
What about the post office with the whale? The post box with the whale.
Yeah, the post box with the whale. Yeah, whale post boxes. Or mailboxes. That's wonderful.
With the spank me sign on it. And let me tell you, your brother, I think, preferred living in Pacific Grove, California, to any other town he ever lived in.
I would too. It's a nice place. Really nice place.
You like it more than Arcadia?
Yes. Don't look at me like that, Charles.
I can't help it. Do you realize that you were considered Mr. Arcadia? I mean, that would be like, I don't know. It would be like Liberace saying he didn't like Vegas.
No, it's not. See, no, I'm not saying I don't like Arcadia. You know what? You're just creating problems. You're just being a trickster. That's who you are. You're being the chaotic neutral jack-o'-lantern.
I am a nice person, basically.
Basically.
Yes.
Okay, that's it for the show, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to cut it right here so Charles can stop bullying me. But don't worry, more bullying in the full episode coming right at you.
The full episode? What do you mean a full episode? How is this a full episode? Do you expect me to fool around?
Don't you always?
No. I'm straight, sober, and listen, we live in a world that is run by the sanest, smartest people money can buy. All I can do is respond to that world the best way I know how.
No, that doesn't mean any. Your words are. Yeah, I try too, Charles. I try my best. That's all I'm doing is trying my best. I make a sincere effort each and every day. I give it my all. Okay.
That life coach was really helping you. I'm glad to hear this.
All right, that's it. I'm cutting us off.
We'll see you in a minute, kids. Be good.